Lydia Woligorsky from the CCADV Board of Directors.
Good afternoon. My name is Lydia Woligorsky, and I have the privilege of being a domestic violence counselor for Project Safeguard in Denver, Colorado. In front of me on the lawn, you have undoubtedly viewed several of the shoes, and I invite you to view all of them after the rally is over. A lot has been said here today about a woman in her shoes, and while the individual shoes and artist statements speak for themselves, please allow me to share with you some of the history surrounding the project. The Take a Walk in My Shoes project is a signature workshop from our friends at A Window Between Worlds, a non-for-profit organization in Venice, California, whose sole mission is to organize and develop art for empowerment workshops and domestic violence programs nationwide. There are currently 52 programs in operation, and I'm happy to say that 2 of these programs are right here in Colorado. A Window Between Worlds trains advocates, counselors, and volunteers in the leadership and facilitation of art workshops for both adult and child survivors of domestic violence, and we are thankful for their support. In a Walk in My Shoes workshop, they invite participants to begin to describe their journeys through abuse and towards wholeness. Through the metaphor of shoes, survivors communicate their sorrow and their strength, their frustration and their hope, and their own art of survival. On the lawn, we have shoes from shelters and domestic violence programs from across the state of Colorado. There are shoes of survivors and shoes from the advocates that have walked beside them. There are house slippers from women who left home in the middle of the night with no other possessions than the clothes on their back. And there are shoes from the advocates who opened the shelter's door. There are shoes from women who went to court seeking relief from the abuse and who have made tough decisions about their futures and their children's futures. There are shoes from women who have returned home many times before, and there are shoes from women who have walked away and never looked back. Each shoe and story is unique in composition, but there is truth in the telling and there is strength in the sharing of burdens. There are also shoes here that represent the growing numbers of men who are now walking in solidarity, who strongly proclaim that domestic violence is no longer a woman's issue, but a societal plague that impacts us all. I believe that the men's shoes are here today to reinforce the notion that none of us are safe until all of us are safe. But we have made great progress in the past 37 years, such as the establishment of programs nationwide for both survivors and perpetrators of violence, and the Historic Violence Against Women's Act. There is still much more to do. For all the shoes we have here today, and the narratives they represent, there are thousands of stories that will never be told. There are far too many who remain silenced by their abuse. There are far too many victims who have been silenced forever. Last year in Colorado alone, 49 people died as a direct result of domestic violence. While we must not forget the gravity of this work, we dare to hope for a world in which all people, women and men, young and old, live in safe homes and reside upon safe streets. As Mother Jones so poetically said, we must pray for hell, we must pray for the dead, and fight like hell for the living. We are all advocates, and as advocates we passionately work long hours, carry pagers, beg for money, lobby for change, set beside hospital beds, and quite often refuse to hold our tongues. Thank goodness for the strong women who have come before us and taught us so well. And thank goodness for the strong survivors and advocates that are here today. I challenge all of you to keep moving forward, to keep walking, to keep hoping, and to keep telling the stories and keep breaking the silence. Finally, I challenge all of you to walk on past the impossible. Dare to become uncomfortable in your own lives, learn new things, do not take no for an answer, give voice to those around you, knock on forbidden doors, trample the old taboos, and know that the trajectory that we have forged together started with just one step and is now sustained by the countless women and men who continue to walk with a common purpose to end domestic violence. It has been my honor to walk alongside you today, and I thank you all for being here.